This 1 Degree Outside video is sponsored by the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest fair. You can pre-order your admission, meal, and ride tickets today at topsfieldfair.org and join the fun October 4th through 14th, conveniently located on Route 1, just off of Interstate 95.
Pattern predictions the next 2 weeks. I love to do this one with you, that deeper dive that looks at the jet stream and how things are going to evolve, because it's one thing to have an app with a 14-day, and you can get that. Noyes 1 degree outside weather. You'll see the 14-day forecast, but how might it change? Because we all know that it does, right, as you go over 14 days. So here's what's going on. We start out with what's happening now. There's actually a storm center just off the Carolina coastline. It's been deemed potential tropical cyclone 8 by the National Hurricane Center, but there really isn't much jet stream wind with it. It has some kind of semi-tropical characteristics with it, but no matter what it does, it doesn't probably deliver us very much moisture at the end of this week. It raises the chance of showers Thursday, Friday, and as we head into the upcoming weekend, we'll talk about that in a minute, but bottom line is a lot of the energy will be breaking down with it as we head into the weekend. So you get deeper into the upcoming weekend, you say, well, wait a minute now, the jet stream winds, our storm steering winds are directly over us. That should bring some disturbances. It will, but at the same time, there's drier air that's coming in, and you're generally dropping the disturbances out of the northwest, which doesn't necessarily carry a lot of moisture with it anyway. So we don't see there being a very high chance of rain this weekend. There's an interesting exception, which I'll tell you about here in just 1 second, that we'll keep an eye on. And again, that's what this pattern prediction is all about, is what you're going to want to watch in the forecast. So we'll watch the weekend. And again, I'll get to that. You get out in the next week, and as we get to the middle of next week, look at the jet stream right overhead. That's why you're going to see an increased or elevated chance of showers in the 14-day forecast for the middle and end of next week. There's something about this worth pointing out, though. One, the jet stream flow is out of the northwest. And remember what I was saying, you're not going to get a lot of deep moisture that way. If you could dig a disturbance a little bit more, that would be more formidable rain or more formidable showers for the middle and end of next week. It just doesn't look likely to happen in a pattern like this. The other thing is, notice what happens by the time we get to next weekend and the end of the 14-day, you start to bring in a ridge again, a big dome of high pressure, both at the surface and aloft at the jet stream level. That tends to argue for what would be relatively mild and dry conditions building back in. So water conservation should definitely continue here, whether it's a dug well that you have or you do irrigation by rainwater. It's something to be aware of, that we don't look to see a lot of rain coming up, even if the chance of showers rises at times. That chance of showers rises a bit in southern New England anyway at the end of this week, not so much in northern New England. Now, it's interesting. Why isn't it just zero for the weekend? Well, with the storm to our south, if it stalls out, you may be able to pull an onshore wind enough to bring in a lot of clouds on either of the 2 weekend days, and that could spit some rain. It would not be meaningful stuff, but it would be meaningful if you have outdoor plans and it turns out that way. So just so you know, that's one thing we're going to keep an eye on. We're not overly concerned about that happening. The air looks to be dry enough that it'll be fine, but that is not outside the realm of possibility for the weekend. And then middle and end of next week, we talked about the jet streams overhead. The disturbances are coming in. It drives up the chance of rain, but unless you see some significant change in the configuration, it really doesn't favor significant amounts of rain in any way, shape, or form coming down. You are going to see a drop in temperature after the next couple of days. You come down very close to normal for this time of the year, and then you probably build back up just a little bit above normal as we get to the last week of the month. Remember, normal is cruising down now as we get into this time of the year pretty steadily. Dew point forecast, I think we're almost done with it, don't you think? A lot of you have loved it, but now you look and you say, well, we get to about 60 degrees on a dew point Thursday, Friday. You'll feel the twinge of humidity, and then it goes back down again after that. Tropics, couple of things. Gordon's out in the central Atlantic. You also are talking about what has been a storm that we just mentioned that's near the Carolina coastline. But you know what I think is interesting? There's still waves coming off of Africa. And actually, when you look at the overall favorability parameters here, red being more favorable conditions with regard to ocean sea surface temperature, with regard to wind shear, we end up with a lot of wind shear near the coastline, but the central and eastern Atlantic still looks very favorable even a week from now. So I bet as we get into the waning days of September, we're still going to have plenty of action that'll be firing up in the central and eastern Atlantic. So nonetheless, it'll be something to talk about out there. All right, reminder, if you want to follow day by day and see how these chances of rain and the temperatures kind of change as we go along, you can always do that and get the data. And that would be right from our app, Noyes 1 degree outside weather app, both at the App Store and Google Play. So that's the deeper dive. That's what to watch for, what may change a little bit in the coming days. I'll look forward to being back with you with an evening essentials coming up again in just a little bit.